Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for some wonderful product action tonight in this fantastic evening. Sun is shining, there's no snow, it all melted away, and we're here on Pro Viaduct. Here for the week four of ESEA Invite. Joining me tonight is Marxist, I am Ro, and Azazel on the production crew, you could say. Marxist, talk to the people.
All right. Well, this one should be pretty cool. We were going to try to bring you 2 product matches last night right here on TFTV, but we only brought you one instead because of some minor technical difficulties. But so far tonight, everything's looking great. So hopefully we'll get to see some nice TF2, and this match in particular should be a good one. I'll explain it if you don't want to, Ro.
I'll take over because here's the laydown. Here it is, outright, all laid out straight for everyone. If Gnomercy takes this round, they essentially have a guaranteed spot in playoffs. Gnomercy has a guaranteed seat in the playoff seeding if they finish off a victory against EVL. Because any team that is in the top 4 that has bested 2 teams in the top 4 is going to be seeded naturally in the top 4.
Yep, because of the way the rules work, and unless they throw to
they literally have to throw matches against the lower seeds in order to not make playoffs. But we're expecting them to win their other matches, so
yeah, as long as they don't die or break up or have some sort of interpersonal difficulties, it should be smooth sailing for Gnomercy. But EVL, they've already lost a match this season. That's sometimes uncharacteristic for them. If you go back a few years, they went undefeated until championship games, habitually, actually. But now different things are around. They're kind of messing with their lineup a bit here and there. It'll be interesting to see what they try to do. They have lost to another team that was not Froyo. And some people say it's because Rando ran NG for the full first half. Some people say it's because they're washed up. So tonight we'll see which one of those things is true, because we'll probably see either wash up or lots of NG or both.
Yeah, I mean, technically the gunslinger is unbanned, if I'm not mistaken, and Viaduct has some pretty interesting HL gimmicks. You know, you got the tiny little cliff side. There's a great spot where the sentry can watch the point, and it's like impossible to spam. I don't know if Product took out that incredible exploit where it was just so powerful. I don't know if they adjusted the way the rock's shaped, or it looks like it is for the most part covering it, so it can't shoot the point per se with a cover of the cliff side. But still, Gunslinger Engineer could be a factor if Rando feels the need to, but I'm hoping they'll give Gnomercy a little bit of respect, because Gnomercy beat the team that beat EVL.
Yep. Well, one thing is for sure here, the little rocks used to be differently shaped based on which color you were, and they have decided to fix that. So in this version, I don't think the rocks are exactly perfect to each other on either side, but they're close enough that I can't complain anymore about it. But before we end up getting started here, because we do have rather a lot of players in the server ready to go, let's run down the rosters, Ro.
That we will do. Coming on the opposing side, the team that is looking to take it down, hopefully, in order to secure themselves a victory in the playoffs, we have Gnomercy. Gotcha. Gnomercy with Cookie Jake the medic, Aim, and I believe, who's the other soldier guy? I'm losing my mind.
Marmaduke Grills.
Marmaduke Grills. This is like the 3rd week in a row that I've forgotten Marmaduke Grills plays on this team. Marmaduke Grills and Aim are the soldiers, with Junie from Spy Kids, aka Dingo, as the demo man. And the Pound Town clowns themselves, we've got Yite, Lemnish.
And over on the other side, we've got EVL with somewhat of their traditional roster. We've got Nursey, on medic, Badonsky on demo, Patty and Rando are ostensibly your soldiers, though we may see Rando go to scout. Corsa and Yomps are supposedly your scouts right now for tonight. But I have seen Rando warming up a little bit, but he appears to be playing soldier right now in the warm-up period. So maybe he has gone back to his old ways and will show us some of that soldier class. But this is a big night for them in EVL because there have been some doubts. But Badonsky used to be, I always used to harp that he was one of the best demos in Invite, and I have not seen that out of him this season. And their performance has been at times lackadaisical.
That is indeed.
We'll see. Gnomercy has a chance here to really cement themselves as one of the best teams in North America.
That would be very exciting to see because, as you all know, I don't know if the EVL gaming going to I-61 thing has been confirmed or denied yet, but Freyotech have denied it, so it would be a miracle if the best team, or potentially a team that can prove themselves as the best team in NA, would find a way to make it to I-61 and represent North America. But that's just hearsay. I'm not going to go any further on that. What are your predictions? Because it's this is one of, I hate to say it like this, but Product is honestly a wild card kind of a map. It doesn't follow most of the traditional 5CP, everything that you'd have to do to be a good 5CP player. It's a lot more DM oriented.
Well, sometimes teams just have a knack for Viaduct too. And I don't really know what Gnomercy's relationship with this map is. So that'll be another thing that we find out tonight in full color vision here. And Azazel streaming however many pixels he's got in his stream. And we'll see what we've got rolling here. I would like, being an old man, as my prediction for EVL to win it. And here's why. EVL used to be so dominant, and it bothers me at an intrinsic level that the youngins, the new teams, might be able to handle them and overthrow what was once so dominant.
I agree. They had that same, I don't want to say facade, but I guess the word I'm looking for is bravado. They had that same reputation as Freyotech when it came to being a powerhouse. They've been constantly struggled since Lost in Translation. This is basically a long rehashed, rewarped kind of team that basically started with Alpha and Mela and Rando back in Lost in Translation, however many seasons ago it was, and they've been fighting constantly for this invite season, playing against Team Banny, Freyotech that is, because they've actually been Freyotech, the same name, for so many seasons. I don't have to say Team Banny anymore. They have that class, that reputation, like I said, and to see them throw away that reputation just because it was first week of the season. Kind of unsettling.
On one old man point, Marmaduke Grills has been around forever. He is by far the veteran of the Gnomercy squad. He has been around, I would say, quite a bit longer even than Rando or Badonsky. But he's never risen to quite the heights that they did when they were going undefeated and winning championships, or losing them, as the case may be. But they were still in the championship, which was further than old Mr. Grills had gotten. But Precisely. He was on some very good teams. The classic HRG, which was pre-Banny HRG.
The pre-Banny HRG.
Him, Rick, Snacks, Trekkie, and Tech Dude. That was a solid team. And unfortunately, at the time they played TF2, they were coming in 5th pretty consistently, despite being a super good team. And Try as well, our current ESEA admin, was their pocket soldier.
Yeah, back when Try was constantly hitting fat directs and more, I wouldn't say revolutionizing because some might think it was Lansky, but basically bringing about the gunboats pocket meta. Just because who needs a shotgun when you never miss a rocket?
Well, and also you throw your life away a lot more when you're gunboat's pocket. That was sort of what was demonstrated really clearly by the Mihai's Flow team in season 11 or 10. I'm now confused. I think it might have been. Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's 11. I'm losing my mind, bro. It was so long ago. There were practically people riding around on horses back then, and so they decided to run with the double gunboat soldier, and it was super effective. They crushed everyone, and then all of a sudden, it didn't work anymore. But in this newer era, it still works pretty good. Like everybody just decided to do it instead of coming up with some alternative. But we've got color choices and we're ready to go here, Ro. We're gonna see what the first mid goes down. The big thing we want to watch is which team loses their medic.
Because that's the very first thing that's going to be happening at this mid fight. Is that your prediction right now? One of the medics is going to be one of the first 3 kills?
Well, I hope not, because your objective on this map as medic is to never ever die. So we'll see who is the undisputed never dying champion this evening.
Right now we do see an early China rollout from Dingo, taking a lot of spam now. Going to be looking over to the left side, seeing an early sticky and connecting it onto Rando, who's going to try and escape, but both Marmaduke and the scouts are coming behind. He's actually going to wrap around and get the kill onto Dingo, and now the follow-up bombs are coming in. It's just poor Cookie Jake and Rando, who somehow managed to take so much damage, jump in, and then jump back around. Practically had no rockets reloaded, took out Dingo, and then took out Cookie Jake. What an incredible early mid.
Yeah, Rando taking it back in time to the abuse unlock setup, chasing down Cookie Jake with his stick out, the now pretty much balanced stick, maybe even underpowered stick. And the big bomb comes in, but it gets thrown away straight away. And now they're just doing the slow march. We watched a lot of this last night with the slow walk up out of Meat Market and Velocity Gaming. But the Uber comes out, it sees a med, it wants to get a med. Scout is coming in deep here, but he's going to back off. That's Corsa running away. So Nurse's Uber does manage to thwart the suicides, but does not succeed in killing Cookie Jake. So I'd say in about 20 seconds, we're going to see a merciless Uber.
Yeah, it's a little bit overextended here on China, taking a little bit of a buff. Going to be trying to get this fight. This one we want to get the scout. And it's going to be a follow-up bomb from Mr. Rando, who's taking so much damage. And he connects it before Cookie Jake could even probably get the Uber. There's no way that was a drop. I didn't hear the drop sounds. Killing Cookie Jake, and now it's a desperate fling towards Nurse's body. Everyone throwing all their force into trying to take out these players, get the space, but they're not even getting the kills. Patty even gets a kill onto Slemnish, and now it's a quick bomb right away from AIM. He gets the shot! Oh, what a very great suicide play, quite literally. The very last inches of his health, able to get in there and clean things out. Yite can be taking out Corsa as well, who got a little bit aggressive here. We do see Yamps trying to keep an eye on Yite, but not going to find any opportunity here. A fight on China. It's a nice little air shot from Marmaduke. Grill's going to take down Rando, and this is going to open up the way for them to take this hill back in their favor.
Yeah, they're still way down in time. A soldier is approaching. That's Patty. Going to take a little bit of damage and back off. They're putting spam on the point, but it doesn't really matter. Rando's still dead, so they're not going to move that quick. Rando gets the quick respawn timer. Now, there is almost a solid minute of difference here for EVL, so they can take their time with this, but they're coming in anyways, Ro.
We do see an initiation from Patty, who's come in, as well as Rando, and they're doing a little bit of damage, but getting completely separated. And Cookie Jake's taking a lot of damage, but he's about to get his Uber, and Nurse's not in a great position to want to use her Uber, because obviously they don't have the Uber advantage. They are actually forcing off right now. Can Cookie Jake keep his players alive? He's going to be flashing it onto Mr. Dingo, as well as Slemnish. And Slemnish is not going to find any opportunities here, but a little bit of a forward breathing room is able to let Dingo spam some shots around. And now the re-push from EVL is looking so strong and so confident. They just took the point right back. An ebb and flow of these waves is able to make them pick up Slemnish, Marmaduke, Yite, and AIM all at once. It's just Dingo all the way alone at Cliff, and it's going to be Cookie Jake with 25% to his name, but no teammates, and only a minute left to retake the point before it's all over this round.
Yeah, Dingo's late death there gave him a tremendously long spawn timer. So now he's finally alive, so that delayed them quite a bit there. Cookie Jake, I'd estimate, is going to have about 75% Uber before they even get in a position to do anything. Nursey under threat, though, going to have to dump out underneath, going to get saved by the panels. Patty and Rando are both falling, but Corsa is cleaning things up with Badonsky. Uber's going to get forced off, but everybody is dead except Cookie Jake. Cookie Jake hiding out in spawn, not moving, enjoying the electrical sounds of his hat.
Yeah, you can see through the window, and players are checking things out. They do spot out Yomps. Gonna be a quick and easy kill there, and that's gonna open the door for things. The rest of EVL are backing up. They're gonna have to do another incredible ebb and flow to retake this entire point right now. Rando is primed in position. He's got a great buff here. It's actually going to be a following up right after Patty, who launches Cookie in the air and forces the Uber off there. Cookie Jake not wanting to take any more chances here. Rando finally dying. Both soldiers down now. Aim was the only casualty in that exchange, and Dingo's going to get pressured here, but he gets Corsa miraculously. And he does have a very low amount of health, but he's going to get healed up very nicely. And now with 3 seconds left on the clock, it's up to Gnomercy to find a chance to forward hold here because they have so much pressure on the demo man, Badonsky, who's trying to peek from the main house. A lot of pressure onto poor Marmaduke Grills. Is going to get cleaned up by Yomps over on the right side. And now with that pick, it's going to initiate the floodgates of EVL Gaming. They're pushing on the left side. They're going to get Uber about 5 seconds now. And it looks like there's nothing Gnomercy can do here. What will happen?
Well, it looks like they're going to pop Uber straight in. It's not getting anything, though. There's nothing to really fight, but they're going to pick up 2 really quick here in Slemnish and the player named I Only Play on Colorado, which is AIM. And then they're going to lose Dingo as well, and that'll be the end because they're just going to cap it up. And the time has run out. So that'll put EVL up 1-0. They definitely look to be in better form tonight than they have in other games this season.
Looking now at Badonsky, who's walked slowly and casually up the left side. Gonna take a little bit of spam over here, and he does see. He calls out the shots, and the bombers are coming in right away. EVL sending both their soldiers, Patty and Rando, very coordinated bombs, but it's not going to work out. Yomps was trying to make something happen over here on the flank and gets taken down. And the rest of the players are coming back and forth, exchanging. Dingo was a big pick there from Badonsky, who walked forward, but going to get cleaned up by Yite, who's on his own trail streak of his own. And now Slemnish is also trying to follow up, but is a little bit low on health, not going to be able to follow up on that. Badonsky a very late death, but thanks to the wonderful magic of respawns on Viaduct, King of the Hill maps in that, for that matter, players are going to be up before we know it.
The mid-strat of EVL seems to be to rattle Cookie Jake. Cookie Jake is a newer player to invite, so maybe they think his confidence could be shook by just bombing him really hard at the start of mid. They're going to come in now and have an Uber exchange. So far, it's pretty much going better for Gnomercy, and they're going to launch Gnomercy up. Gnomercy's going to definitely surf it onto the cliff. And we're maybe going to see that slow refight here out of red. They have players to give. Yomps is going to die. Patty takes an arrow after almost dying. And now the response is not really coming out of Gnomercy. Marmaduke's going to go down because their spawn timers are so much longer. You can't let this get out of hand. Patty's going to basically trade out with Dingo. Yite's going to lose one too, and now they're done here. And this death on the soldier is going to be really bad. There's AIM going down, going to take that 10-second spawn timer. And losing one of your explosive classes here really hurts because it's going to. They're going to just have to come to this door and stand for a while. Oh, actually, they're going to try to walk out here, and Dingo's going to take some pretty good hits, but nobody's close enough to punish.
Very good push, tanking it with a big buff and all the heals on him. Dingo able to come in through, but now it's going to be an Uber exchange. Gnomercy was calling for the push and sending in Yomps. Yomps coming in now and trying to flash, but he had a Dingo right behind him, and Dingo's going to hit his own life by hitting the Ubered player. Yite not even going to be able to get out of there, surfing away, but gets taken down. Maestro, aka Cookie Jake, getting taken down. This soldier exchange is all that's left. It's up to Marmaduke Grills, who gets great damage on Badonsky, but cannot finish it off. But Badonsky decides, no, you won't end my life. I will end my life. And Badonsky feels bad, man, gun.
Yeah, the important thing to walk away from that fight with is Gnomercy survived and Cookie Jake did not. So EVL, even though they're down players and cannot hold here, they're actually going to kill the demo, though. That's Dingo going down. That's a great argument. They're rebounding really well. I never would have thought they'd tried to hold that, but they just went in, and I guess they caught Gnomercy asleep at the wheel. They didn't think they were going to get that kind of resistance, and EVL ends up holding even though they were victimized by the poor spawn timer and had fewer players.
Very, very good DM showing from EVL Gaming, not letting any up. Of course, they're going to get taken down on the China, or the top of the house. AIM getting killed by Badonsky's trap there, and the Uber was forced off by Gnomercy over here on the right side, trying to chase into the spawn. They were able to pick up a Yite, but that's all that really got out of it, and the rest of the spawns have sacked. It's Cookie Jake still alive, and now at 80% Uber. Can they pick up Rando over here on the cliff? He's a little bit overextended, but he's going to be calling things out for his team. He sees the spam, and now we're going to be looking at Patty's POV. That he spotted out aim and he sees the bombing soldier on the right side. Can he initiate? Both scouts are waiting for it. He could have totally forced the Uber here, but he's going to back off now. And now let's see what Gnomercy can do here. We do see some initiation from Slemnish onto Yomps. Finally, a little assistance from Aim going to take it down. The Uber is forced off, and we do see Junie, aka Dingo, rushing forward. And Aim is still causing a lot of havoc on the defensive, taking down all the players that were trying to wrap behind. And that's a great opportunity for Gnomercy to take this cap finally with no pressure from EVL's flanking classes in the back end of the point.
Now there's still about a minute 20 down, unless my math has totally failed me. And Gnomercy does have Uber advantage, but getting bombed right here is going to do a surf and not have a follow-up. 2 players down on Gnomercy, so this should be an easy push, ideally for them. They don't want to have to pop. Rando is going to get taken down on the rock on the left side, but in comes Corsa trying to pressure Dingo out of here. Dingo's got to go hide in the house and his safety covered, and they're getting arrows and everything out of here now, and Gnomercy has that Uber sitting on the point. They just have to whittle it down another 30 seconds. Slemnish is going to go down. They're going to pop the Uber off, but Cookie Jake gets it just in time, and now they're going to have another fight over this point.
Dingo wrapping around to China, gonna get met up with Corsa, who took a very good bomb, but it was enough from Dingo to do the 2 stickies to take down Gnomercy, but the rest of the players are crumbling, and there's only 8 seconds left with just Slemnish and Cookie Jake. They're rushing to the point, but it's not gonna happen because Rando's sitting on the forward cliff. Gonna get some 2 nice rockets, but it's not gonna be enough to take it down. Slemnish is gonna survive almost long enough, but there was no way, even if he killed Rando as quickly as he did and made it all the way to the point, it was over. EVL taking 2 rounds very cleanly.
Yeah, Rando talking some trash to his former teammate Slemnish. And here we go away with another round here. EVL looking pretty strong. Gnomercy is having a lot of difficulty taking and holding the point.
Early bomb from Rando, getting right onto it, and a follow-up bomb from Patty. They are trading the opportunities to pick up their players one by one, but it's not going to be enough for this mid fight because even though they took down Cookie Jake, they aren't going to be able to live. Every single player has died while the bomb came from the soldiers, and they couldn't protect Cookie Jake because of that excellent alley-oop from Rando and Patty. Rando set it up, and then Patty cleaned it out. That was just phenomenal work. It wasn't enough to stop the rest of the team from dying because it just takes a little bit of forward aggression. We do see Marmaduke Grills potentially going to pick up on Badonsky. Misses the first air shot, but then cleans up. Going to get cleaned up, retaliated by Mr. Corsa, who's also peeking the point. Point has been capped by Gnomercy, and they're going to hold on to this aim, take a little bit of pressure, but going to back off just in time. And finally going to get healed up as well. Oh, but a great initiation from Yomps at the connector. Going to take that down against the Yite. Scouts are trading 1 for 1, and now the soldier bombs are coming in. Patty doing a lot of damage to poor Slemnish. She's getting juggled. Got a crater after pistoling down Rando, and it's still just Dingo alive practically. Marmaduke Grill's still on the respawn with Yite also meeting up with them shortly. The cap does go to EVL, and Badonsky has taken a little bit of pressure onto Marmaduke Grills. He's going to be backing up, trying to get heals, but he has to wait for the arrow because he's just looking for his opportunity to get it in, and Badonsky's rushing forward, gets juggled in the air, but doesn't get taken down. Arrows are exchanged on Gnomercy's side as well, trying to get up poor Corsa, who's low on health, going to be coming in and forcing the Uber off. Now the Uber has exchanged thanks to Rando, who also managed to pick up Yite, and the Uber came to the point, but it wasn't going to be able to make anything happen here. Gnomercy's going to get the Uber very shortly now, going to be forcing it off right away. We do see the bomb from Mr. Badonsky, who was able to take down Dingo right away, and with no demo down, it's really hard to reinitiate here. Marmaduke Girl's going to be going for a bomb very shortly now on the perch, going to be initiated by Patty, who's desperate to jump around and cause some distractions, slowing down the aggression, and Slem's just going to get taken down by Corsa here. And finally, we do see some slowing down in this exchange. EVL getting such a better control of the point and the post-Uber exchanges.
Yeah, the big tragedy there was for a moment, Cookie Jake got disconnected and was unable to charge, and as a result, Cookie Jake's Uber that they should have had much sooner didn't come out, and now EVL's got the point and let Ubers equalize. Gnomercy ended up having a lot more Uber than they expected, and they're still holding this point here. Cookie Jake does still have a bit of advantage. They're still trading out fights a little bit because EVL cannot trade their lives right now. They do get the Uber out, and it's going to trade off. Nobody died. So that works out perfectly in EVL's favor, and now they're going to refight over the point. It is being pressured very heavily by Gnomercy, though.
Gnomercy definitely having a lot more control of this point right now. Rando backing up all the way to spawn, Corsa getting taken out. All these numbers speak one truth, and that's going to be an easy retake while still seeing the medic in sight, and they're going to be following up, taking down Patty and Yomps. Aim is going to crater, and Rando actually manages to pick up Dingo, which is a great kill, but Yite, who rushed forward, disconnected Gnomercy, going to take that down on Badonsky, going to get hit by 2 rockets. He could take a third. He surfs it away, still alive with a single-digit health, bringing out his Muma shoes tonight and able to stay alive there. That's going to be crucial for them them to repush as soon as possible for the Sax rotation.
Yeah, or they may try to just get in here and kill Cookie Jake, depending on where Cookie is. Cookie's not that exposed, so I don't think that'll be possible, but there is, of course, a very close. The bomb is coming in. It does pop. He pops straight up in the air, but there's no follow-up. So that would have been an easy kill for anybody who was in the vicinity, but I guess they must have gotten blocked. That was a very poor surf out of Cookie Jake.
I agree.
And well, now we are equalized, essentially, because they're not going to do anything until Gnomercy gets this Uber. And I'm kind of sad that Gnomercy is not just charging their Uber in here to try to victimize Gnomercy and take more clock as a result, because Gnomercy could be cut off.
All of these bombs, Cookie Jake finally going to get forced off here. Badonsky going to go down. Gnomercy just now getting out. Very good job from them. Badonsky actually killed himself there by his own, taking fall damage and then trying to jump away at the same time. Very funny. But Gnomercy now has that Uber and is ready to repush. We do see the forward hold from Gnomercy, but I think it's honestly a little too late. They should have been taking the Uber forward, just like he said, rather than playing a defensive Uber. Popping into it was definitely the play, especially with Gnomercy in sight. Both soldiers jumping up onto China here. Gonna be able to take out Dingo, and that is a crucial pick. But a great double bomb from Marmaduke, not Marmaduke. Marmaduke Grills jumping up, trying to stick up 2 rockets to drop Gnomercy before she can even get through the door. Able to get the force off, but not able to get the drop there. The drop would have been a phenomenal play. Now we do see basically a 16-second advantage on Uber from Cookie Jake, who's building up his Uber very shortly. They have plenty of time to use this Uber and chase down Gnomercy at the post Uber, and Gnomercy sitting on the right side. Some great bomb from Marmaduke Girls, who didn't even take any damage practically getting in through the door. It's going to stay alive too, thanks to Patty getting taken down by Slemnish walking in through the house. If they can heal up and take out Rando, nice little air shot from Dingo. 2 picks is all they need to take this down. There are no soldiers alive, no defensive presence aside from the scouts that can just kind of manipulate the air strafing here, but no great opportunities to shoot feed or anything like that. Yams is getting disconnected from the rest of the team, and that's going to be a free cap. This is great stuff from Gnomercy, and looks like they can hold on to it, but once again, they're in a position where they're going to be using a defensive Uber instead of an offensive Uber.
Yep, well, in this case, Gnomercy's going to get Uber. And you never really know. I always tend to err on the side of caution. Unfortunately, Gnomercy's going to take some damage early. They're going to double up on this Uber as Patty jumps all the way behind. But they've got to get on the point and put some time on it. They're on it. No, they step off. They walked off the point, and that was the end of that. So round to Gnomercy, bringing it a little bit closer here, showing that they can take a round.
Very good stuff there. Gnomercy, normally a glutton, rather, for stepping onto the point, thinking about the objective, but it was actually Patty who was also bombing from the other side, trying to come in. Did not find that opportunity, and we do see an immediate double soldier bomb, and Cookie Jake doesn't manage to get away from it this time. A nice little follow-up from the scouts. Yams able to come in and do a little bit of a havoc here, but Yite also going to be called out, trying to desperately come in here, and another desperate bomb from AIM, not going to be able to do it. Cookie Jake just now respawning, and Marmaduke Grills backing things up to meet up with his medic. Marmaduke Grills being alive might have been enough to slow down EVL just a tad. Be a little bit more cautious of maybe Marmaduke Grills is hiding, but now we do see they are pushing through once again, not afraid of any spam or coordination. They know they have the numbers advantage, they're able to pick up Yamps right away. This spam is all enough. If they can initiate a soldier on the left side, they could take down this great patio control. Cookie Jake getting disconnected by Rando, and is going to take so much damage, but just barely survives. Rando now behind, going to be meeting up onto Marmaduke Grills and taking him down. Rando now rotating over onto the rest of the point. I don't know what happened with EVL there. They could have had an opportunity there. I do think they took down Gnomercy when they went in, but that was all they managed to do there. Or maybe the Uber just faded. I just saw the Uber advantage is currently in Cookie's favor, but only slightly.
Basically forced there, Ro. It was bad. They let themselves go on to the back foot, but they're taking it right back. No more scouts for Gnomercy, and the Met is under pressure, gonna die. Patty gets an easy face rocket onto Cookie Meister, and it's done. They took a bad situation and turned it into holding this point for another minute, probably.
Gnomercy's just sitting in their spawn, not really sure what to do. They're deciding which way to rotate. They decided to once again try and bully their way through this, but it's not going to work. Marmaduke Girl's going to take a lot of spam here, and it's actually going to force off the Uber. They're going to try and chase it in, try and take a little bit more control of this spawn, but I think that Uber pop, I'm not really convinced that that was a good idea. Maybe they saw the beam and thought it was a great opportunity to chase, but the counter spam was enough to slow things down, and now Marmaduke Girls on the spawn. Corsa still seconds behind. It looks like Rando could have a spot here, an opportunity. He does jump over, catching onto Dingo, and a great rocket with a little help from Patty going to take down Dingo, but both Yomps and Rando get taken down, and a demo for 2 is kind of an even trade, more or less. But having less numbers can be a disaster here because Bedance's trap is going to be the initiation here. As we do see, he does manage to pick up on a Marmaduke Girls right as I was saying that the Uber is forced off. They're going to try and chase down Gnomercy, but Cookie Jake's overcommitting for this, I think. And now not even going to get Gnomercy. It's so low. The backhand to take it down. Finally gets it down, but I don't know if Cookie Jake somehow got out of that. And the rest of the team on the point able to cap it off, but this is their first cap after 2 minutes and 47 seconds left is all EVL needs to take down. And they are retaking this point. They have all of the mid control and forcing off the aggression from Corsa, trying to come in onto it, but no, a great rocket from Marmaduke Girls can take it down. Yomps trying to follow up onto Cookie Jake, who's so low, but finally gets taken down. Great defensive hold, but they gave up the midpoint, and now they're going to have to retake this and lose another chunk of time with another trap set up on the cliff and the house.
Yeah, we got to see Corsa try to answer with a back kill onto Cookie Jake, but it did not happen. And they're bombing in now. Let's see. No, Patty's going to get wiped out by Cookie, but not before he takes out Dingo. And now they're trading over the point. EVL is solidly in position here. They're going to get Yite as well, but the bomb comes in on Nursey. Nursey barely met one rocket more, but that reload animation was the undoing of Marmaduke. Did not have an additional rocket to fire. And now we've got even Uber with 20 seconds to go until halftime, essentially, because Gnomercy has to pull out the best solo Uber here and win and hold for 2.5 minutes.
And Slumdish overcommits, but he finally gets met up with the Uber. Going to be rushing for it now, but the other Uber was ready for Nursey popping it off right away. Yomps getting two kills right away on the Yite and Marmaduke Girls, and once again, nobody could flash off the Uber for just a moment to even start the overtime. Unfortunately, that's going to be the end of it, because if you're Ubered on point, you can't even, prevent the overtime from elapsing. I really want to give credit to EVL there earlier in the match. I wanted to say it, but we didn't have an opportunity, any slowdown, because this is Viaduct week. This is what we get.
Yep.
Constant action. I really want to give EVL a lot of credit for that dry push we saw earlier, where Cookie Jake had 100% and Nurse was at like 60, and they just came in. They just walked in and had that freedom to just ride up to the point and take that early, positioning. And I think Gnomercy has been doing a horrible job of maintaining positioning, probably because some players are, the way they have it set up, maybe their vanguard, the people in the front lines are constantly getting pressured and don't have the support they need to manage more of a forward hold or an aggressive hold, or at least an initiation, because they had advantage on that, and EVL just took it for free. So that was a really poor play on Gnomercy to give up that positioning, but really good choice from EVL to go for. Actually, that was right before Cookie Jake got the Uber. That was like 80%. And they chose a good time to go in and initiate because there was no defensive Uber. It was just raw DM and the point.
Yeah. That's part of the beauty of Viaduct. But I'll talk about the stats real quick here, Ro. One thing I want to point out, Dingo, 391 DPM. So that's really, really high. We're 10 off of the vaunted 400. But you say, well, what's going wrong for him? Well, over on the other side, EVL, they have exactly one player doing less than 300. That is a ton of damage. And it's actually the lowest the lowest is Badonsky, the demo man. That's like unheard of on this map. And then right next to him is Patty, another splash damage class. Meanwhile, Corsa's dropping 376 and Rando dropping 350. So that's where all that damage is going. And most of the heals actually are dropping onto Patty. Whereas over on the other side, it's a lot more even. Yite and Dingo taking most of the heals. A more traditional at this stage setup. I should also point out that Cookie and Nursey's only died one last time. So really, it's going okay.
Wanted to cut you off there because the game has gone live and Cookie Jake can be the first death from Yomps, the soldier, because Rando has switched off. and now is playing Scout. I have seen Rando on Scout action, and he is quite a force to be reckoned with, but that's kind of an insult to poor Gnomercy, who have somehow managed to take the round, or at least the midpoint. Gnomercy managed to get out of there alive, and EVL could be able to pick up on a Marmoted Grills, who is a little overextended, trying to do some roamer flanking action. And that's going to be a costly death because now they have the numbers to come in. Great damage initiating onto Slemnish. Rando going to clean that up. Yomps going to try and clean up as well onto Dingo. Very good job there. But Yite is clearly the better scout here because he's just having a field day. Aim craters to an unfortunate and painful death. Yite going to be meeting up with the heals from Cookie Jake and Marmoted Grills. This could be enough to pressure up Adonsky here because it's pretty much just Yomps to defend. Yomps going to be bombing in now, taking a little bit of damage there, but no initiation. It's just kind of pussyfooting back and forth. No one really contesting the point. They feel like the midpoint is lava. Finally, Gnomercy getting onto the point, but the rest of the players are flooding in. Gnomercy going to be popping off the Uber right away and taking down Dingo. Dingo, a crucial pick now. Dingo dying just a little bit too much, I've noticed. And Aim, once again, cratering, breaking his poor dancer's ankles, and that's going to be it. Gnomercy going to have to retreat, reform, and repush.
Yes, indeed, and EVL still holding that rando scout, just saying we can beat you with one of our top damagers playing a different class, and the forward hold working very well against Gnomercy, keeping that Uber at bay because there's no point in going with no scouts. You need that times 2 capping power on the point. Not to mention their DM power when you push. So they hold that up for quite a while. Now they're going to do the slow withdrawal to try and keep Gnomercy safe. Patty's going to go down, but so is Marmoted Girl, so is Soldier Trade. Gnomercy is very hurt now, 60 health, regenerating. Gets to 90%. This is going very well for EVL because they're going to have an Uber to face this right now as the push comes in from Gnomercy. They're bombing forward, and the Uber is exchanged on the point.
Both Ubers exchanging. Very good rotation from Gnomercy, baiting players in, but unfortunately nothing happened in that immediate post-Uber exchange, and the EVL bomb is so coordinated, so well done. Badon's going to be walking forward, taking down 2 players with 1 sticky practically. Now going to be chasing after the other players here. He does spot out Slemnish. He's trying to hit that last pipe. It's all he needs to do. He's got the bottle out. Marmoted Girls going to be bombing in, trying to support him, and finally Badonsky gets that pick onto it, and Marmoted Girls is going to be retreating over to Cookie Jake, who did manage to get out of that exchange, but with still an Uber disadvantage. Not looking good because now Badonski's got the forward hold. Sticky's on the cliff side, and the rest of the players, Corsa holding very aggressively, keeping an eye on the main house, and the double soldier hold we're seeing on the left side, keeping a tight hold on this potential push out. Finally, they're going to push their way through, but at a bad time because Gnomercy's just now getting the Uber. Going to force it off right away, trying to flash into Corsa. Corsa's going to get flashed now, chasing things down. Meanwhile, all this bombing happening and Badonsky flanking through the cliffside. Gonna try and catch players out. He does spot Aim, who's gonna be bombing in. Gonna try and take down Badonsky, but it's not gonna work because Patty's there. And this is a forward hold all the way into the spawn. Dingo finally gonna take down Rando, but that one exchange for his own life not gonna be able to happen. They're trying to worship their way out of the point. Finally, they're pushing players out. They got the Uber, forcing it off onto Yite, who's going to be rushing forward, trying to chase down, but he doesn't have enough speed in his belt to make it happen. Marmoted Girl's following up immediately, but he has such low health. He does spot up Badonsky, who does manage to surf a nice rocket. Going to be followed up onto, and still alive! Badonsky throwing pipes desperately. It's going to be Corsa getting taken down by Dingo as they're working their way to the point. Gnomercy going to try and take this cap, finally getting it underway with 0 time left in overtime. Rando with the clutch scout plays can also manage to surf away miraculously, get healed up by Gnomercy, and we do see Yomps getting ready to initiate, keeping a little bit of a support spam. Going to be finally initiating here with both scouts now rushing forward. Dingo trying to get a little bit of damage onto it. It's a bomb from Yomps, who's doing a little bit of damage there, pushing players back, and a follow-up bomb from Patty right away. But all the soldiers are so weak, the Uber does get forced off. EVL getting the better exchange of these frags right now as Aim and Yomps go down. Patty the only casualty so far for EVL. Corsa could have gone down there, but got a nice knee shot onto Slemnish. And an Uber saw from Cookie Jake is going to try and slow things down, but that's going to be it. That's the match, ladies and gentlemen. EVL Gaming taking it 4-1.
Yeah, Cookie Jake there tried to live the dream. Kudos to him. But unfortunately, they shot his feet and he went up in the air, and that was the end of that. So a solid round. Rando, actually, you might think that scout pick was a bit of BM on his part, saying, I don't really care about winning anymore. I just want to humiliate you. But he actually played quite well on scout.
Oh, yeah. Like, you can't... It's remarkable. He's a pretty okay scout. But it's a little bit of both, honestly. He's insulting you and still winning. Is that the insult? I can play scout and still beat you guys. Incredible display from Arando there. Honestly, the EVL soldiers were phenomenal this game. And then somehow Corsa managed to pull ahead of Dingo, who was leading in DPM, and Corsa hit the 10K mark, and Dingo didn't even make it there. He was just shy of it on the stats. I don't know if the stats issue got fixed. I'm assuming it didn't, but we're just going to run this down for you, ladies and gentlemen. In order of damage, we have Corsa, Dingo, Yomps, Patty, Rando, Slemnish, and then at the bottom of the damage board, we're just going to go from the bottom. It's basically AIM. AIM is under 250 damage, and everyone else is floating around or above 300 DPM.
Well, with the way that game was going, and AIM, to argue as devil's advocate for AIM, he had to do a lot of dying that game. And so when you're stuck being the initiator who shoots some rockets and then dies, you're not going to get a lot of frags or damage. You're just you're using a player to trade out your health, and it just didn't pan out, especially in that last round. Gnomercy was just completely finished at that point. They really didn't have anything going for them anymore. And one thing I would say about this match, just in general, was Gnomercy kind of did the same thing repeatedly. They never really adapted. Whereas EVL, they got blown up one mid. They went in on their shake up Cookie Jake strat, and it didn't work. And the next mid, they came out and they just all ran forward instead of splitting the team, and it worked fine. And Gnomercy never tried to counter it. And then they got blown up from then on out. And you cannot do that and expect to win against a team as good as EVL, who I think has proven that they still got it.
Absolutely, they are looking like favorites currently to take down the season. Because if they didn't, mess around in the first match of the season against Fank Gaming, they probably could have won that game. But Fank Gaming have proven themselves very nicely. We couldn't stream it yesterday, but Fank Gaming versus Froyotech, they proved themselves very well. 3-0 in the first half, immediately into a 4-0 reverse sweep from Froyotech. 3 close rounds in the second half, and then a steamroll for the final round. So for them to ease up on Fank Gaming, even though they are showing strength, EVL could have been on top this season if they were holding on to that, taking it seriously and not expecting to just push them over. They should be taking this seriously, because they could have been leading the boards right now and showing dominance, but they're still showing dominance by taking down the powerhouse Froyotech and then proving themselves against Gnomercy.
Yeah, a good season for them so far. So they pretty much run the table, except for a game where Rando played NG for most of the game. So we can prove that they do need all 6 players to win, but once they have that, they are a solid team. So good match tonight. I do not know when we will come your way again, because I don't think we have next week planned out just yet.
Not quite yet, no. We will be getting things underway for you shortly, hopefully soon, because a lot of action coming up. Sorry, I take that back. Next week is looking like a lull. I don't know how many phenomenal games we'll have, because this was the week where all the powerhouses of the top of Invite, the current top 4, were playing one another. So there may be a couple matches next one where the people who haven't played everyone in the top 4 can play someone in the top 4. We don't know, but we'll be looking at that and getting back to you guys next week live for, I believe, Goalie Wash Week. That said, I think we're all done here,
There might be some more Viaduct as well from EVL. No, they got a forfeit win. That's why the thing's going on. All right, never mind. I think that's it. Sick of Fork and Viaduct. We're on the Gully Wash. Yeah, you're right, Ro.
Gully Wash. I miss Seabear so much.
Me too. But he's in a better place now.
But moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. Going to give a huge shout out to China White and Marxist. Any shout outs before we close off?
Nope, I'm happy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Peace out.